This is how my parts used to be. A big clear tub of sets and pieces that were all just smashed together. Now I use the bin a lot more thoughtfully. Currently, it's full of sets and parts that need to be broken down, organized, and sorted to the rest of our parts collection, and it's just a temporary home until that's done. Temporary is long-term temporary. We do it like once or twice a year, but at least it has a purpose. More than just an unorganized, unsorted, unfettered disaster where there is no practical use, and the most easy way to find parts is by picking it up and struggling to find that one piece that you need just to no avail. My days of scratching through the bin endlessly only to aggravation are long past me, and I am so glad for it. Some people might feel nostalgic for that big bin of Lego that they can spill and start building. I personally do not. The frustration of trying to find that one 1x2 tile in blue, it was always just having everything organized and sorted it saves so much time. Knowing where each individual piece and minifigure and set is wonderful. And the best part about it, the most enjoyable part about it, is that when you have all of your parts separated and the sets that you have long since lost from your childhood have been broken down and scattered to the wind, you have a chance to attempt to rebuild that. That's one of the first things I did when I got my parts separated, was rebuild a set from my childhood, and it was one of the most fun experiences I had. I have a great time building new sets, no doubt about it. Instructions alone have come a long, long way. Lord, instructions used to be horrific. Going through and picking out the pieces and finding which ones you still have and remembering each piece as you do it, and then getting to put it together and have that nostalgic, warm, fuzzy feeling of, wow, isn't this a good time? It's much more fun experience than even cool towers like this. Cool towers that definitely would be cooler if they weren't cut in half. I'm currently in the middle of a project where I'm trying to build a city, but I'm only building a handful of buildings for the video because building an entire city for one video is a monumental task and would take a long time. But I also don't want just 5 or 10 buildings. That's not really a city, that's a street at best. So I've been going through and picking out old sets that we have to try to populate and surround the areas, just little ones. Grabbing those and building these out of our bins of sets that we have parted out, or keeping them saved, or even parting some together that I've never had, is a fun experience. But not as fun as going through and finding sets that I used to have. I wanted to record going through and building one of my old Lego City sets, and that is this train station. It's one I received, well, relatively not long after it came out, I would assume. I got it for Christmas the same year. I received the Dwarf Mine and Star Wars sets that year, whatever they might be. My appreciation for trains has just recently developed. I've never really cared for them, so why a big kind of gaudy yellow train station was something on the priority list of my Christmas list that year, I have no idea. Did I enjoy playing with it? Oh, absolutely. But I don't know why I asked for it, but I do know I'm grateful I have it, well, somewhere in all of this, but I still need to find all the parts and put it together. And this is one of those few sets that I've always intended on putting back together, and I just hadn't had a reason. Having it in the background or a part of my city is a perfect reason. As the main centerpiece of one of my oldest Lego sets I ever received, I like that idea. I also know I have quite a few parts of it that never fell apart completely, that I've been scrounging together somehow, and I'm gonna have to find those. I've been planning on making a city for quite some time. I actually started one years ago, but I had to tear it apart. I've been saving them all up on the shelf and just pulled it down a few days ago, in the last few days, to get started. And this is one of those things that's been with my to do something in the city with. It's the little delivery guy that came with the train station. He's been in one of the minifigure cases for so long, but I pulled him out to make space and put with my city stuff. So that is one thing I know I have. And another thing, I have to go looking for it, I'm not sure what it is. I know I have a bunch of projects or old stuff in here that I wanted to do something with. Like this is a Carrot House Bionicle, another Bionicle custom figures, and it's not in here. It's good to see that I have some vending machines that have stuck around, but it has to be in one of these bins. We do have an area here that it could be in one of these spots. I kind of forgot how many small side projects that I wanted to get to at some point involving Lego. Hopefully I took the batteries out of those. Definitely has to be here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Now, what looks to be like a headless chicken is an important integral piece of this entire station. This is the only remaining thing from my first train, and by train I mean it's one of those pump carts that two dudes could pump, or one guy could pump and go back and forth. It's the one that came with the station. That and the 4 pieces of track that are also somewhere. Hopefully here, not in California or Ohio. I took a decent look around and wasn't able to find any train track. I have a gut feeling that we have most of our bundles of train tracks still in California and some of the Lego that we haven't brought over yet. So it's not a big deal. I don't really have space for a train in the city. I don't plan on making a train for the city. Not that I have the ability to do one anyways. So I'm not that fussed about it. I might just make it like a town hall or something. Maybe the train tracks on the other side. It doesn't matter. Details are irrelevant. Now I'm looking for the stickered pieces that came with the set. Hopefully I still have those. I know I have most of them. I hope I have all of them though. Haha, that's 3. The sticker placement on it is gnarly. I might be able to fix that. I'm not too worried about it, but that's only one more that I'm missing. Oh, it's a blue sticker on a white tile. That would be more helpful in finding it. No wonder I couldn't find it. I wasn't looking for the right thing at all. An old airport set that I had keeps getting my hopes up. I keep finding white tiles with blue stickers, just not the right one. That's like the 3rd one in a row that I found. I'm sure I have it. I recall seeing it multiple times throughout the years, but I'm not finding it as easily as I was hoping. For everything being as organized as it is, it sure needs to be organized more. Oh, here it is. That's all. I have all of them. Okay, this is a rather sizable set, or at least it has a lot of pretty generic parts in it that definitely have been used in other MOX builds and rebuilds of sets that we parted together. So hopefully we have all of the right parts. If not, I might have to make some alterations that I'm not really wanting to do, but we'll see when I get there after I clean up my mess. I've already run to my first culprit, this 2x8 brick. I need 9 of them in the set and in black, and I don't have 9. Fortunately, I did find where some of them went, and it's this big 501st minifigure display stand. I can easily swap those out. I just hope that all of the parts that I need for this are in things like this, where it's easily swapped and not in something like Claire City, where I have very little idea of what parts are actually in there. Not you. Making progress getting all the parts that I need for the train station, but then I wasn't able to find a slope that we should have plenty of. I mean, we have plenty of slopes. We have drawers and drawers of different types of slopes, and not having a very common one doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then we didn't have some of the other ones that were a little less common. I found where they all go. Claire is using every single one in a mock she made. Every single one. So that has caused my train rebuild to screech to a complete stop. On the bright side, I did find this little computer terminal that goes with this set that I also have kept together all this time. Can't build the rest of it, but hey, at least I have the ticket machine. I'm making quick progress on this, and by quick I mean the exact opposite of quick, because it is taking quite some time to find all of these parts and pull them out despite how well organized it is. I'll have to look again, but I believe all the corner pieces that I need for my roof are being used there. If not, then perfect. But if they are all in there, then I'll have to wait till Claire tears it apart in a few weeks when she's done working on her video, and then I can finish it. But other than that, there's only been one other piece so far, and I think the only piece that I'll have an issue with is the clock. I'm using one of the newer ones. We have the older ones, but they have been repurposed for the modulars when we parted together a few of those, and I don't think my train station outweighs the value of a modular being complete. So newer clock it is. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean I have to like it. This is real disappointing. I just got the final pieces that I need pulled out from all the parts, and these little posts, they have a brick on the bottom and they're a cylinder all the way through the top. They come in lots of different colors, many of which we have. However, yellow only comes in 4 sets, the most prominently featuring in this set with 12. I was able to scrounge up 11. I say scrounge as if it was difficult, but they were all in this bin, so it wasn't too hard to find them. I looked in quite a few places, and having 11 out of 12, when every other piece is accounted for, is a bummer. If it's only come in 4 sets, it's not gonna be a common element. For now, I will just use a different color, maybe tan or bright light yellow, so it doesn't stick out too much, but a bummer. Although it would be neat if I did a color swap with tan, because I have plenty of those. And tan would be a lot more realistic looking. It would also open up the possibility for a lot more, well, not a lot more. I could use masonry bricks and make it just look a little bit more realistic. But I don't know, I would kind of like to keep the color yellow. I think what I'd really like to do is use this train station as a base and expand it and make it more like a train station that you would see in Japan, where there are tons of stores. Basically, it's a giant super mall on top of public transportation centers. And I could do that in tan. It'd probably look better in tan, at least more realistic in tan. Or I could do in yellow. Or maybe just yellow's the original train station front, and then there's a big, giant station behind it. But I don't know, that's a project that if I ever got around to doing, it'd be a long time from now. I'm going to build this and see where it goes. It's going to go with only 11 out of the 12 posts. That's where it's going to go. It's complete, and it is pretty much what I remember. A big structure, not a lot going on the inside. I thought the kitchen restaurant area was a bit larger. I ended up finding a sticker in my collection that matched the clock. Made the mistake of putting it on a black tile. Does not look good. My bad. That's not the first sticker mistake I've done working on the city. And I recreated the pillar piece using a bunch of smaller pieces. It is obviously a workaround that you can tell the difference, but I think a little bit better than using a different color. Just barely. Also finding all of the parts for the figs, save one tiny teeny little exception. This is fitting into my budding city quite well. Well, not really. It's definitely sticking out from the amount of detail in a lot of these other more modern buildings or the ones that I've been making. But for now, until I modify it heavily, I like it. It sticks out, but all of this sticks out because this isn't really a city yet. This is just sets on a table. Once I put down some roads and actually organize it, it might look a little bit better. That's the hope, at least.